Hey guys, it's us, Jessica Chappell and Melissa Harris. We are the real estate team with twins and partners at Keller Williams Realty Partners. Today, we are going to be talking about the cost of buying a home. Yes, there is a cost in buying a home, and we wanted to break it down for you guys so you guys know exactly what it's going to take in order to buy a home. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Alright guys, in this episode, we are going to talk about the costs of what you need to buy a house. Now remember, this is just an estimate, but this is kind of what we've seen as average cost here in Northern Colorado. Alright, so the breakdown of the cost. The first thing that we always like to talk about is the inspection. Now here in Colorado, it is optional for you to hire a professional inspector to inspect the house. You can have, family members, friends inspect the house, but we always highly recommend to hire a professional because they literally do top to bottom. They check the roof, the plumbing, the electrical, HVAC stuff, AC, literally everything. And that cost, if you were to hire a professional inspector, would be between $350 to $450. That's the average we've been seeing. Now they do additional inspections on top of that just general inspection. All right, some extra cost would be the radon test. If you guys don't know what a radon is, it's odorless gas coming from the soil that can cause lung cancer down the road. So it's really important for you to get that tested, especially if you have a basement or you're buying a home with a basement. Even a crawl space, we've seen it come higher. That cost is $150. Now the next one is a sewer scope test. That's pretty much scoping out the main sewer lines, making sure that there's no cracks in those lines or anything like that. That cost is actually pretty cheap. It's $175 for that test. Now, if anything comes back and they're all broken pipes, it could be very costly. So if you do it, then you get the sellers to fix that issue, and it could be thousands of dollars. So that's why we always highly recommend doing that test as well, just so you know that you're at ease knowing that you have good sewer lines. And then the last test, which not a lot of people do it, but we always recommend it, is a meth test. And that ranges between anywhere $300 to $600. It really depends on what type of testing you want to do for it. But that's really all the breakdowns of the inspection items. Now next, as we go down being under contract, if you are getting a loan, and an appraisal is required to be able to move the process forward. So an appraisal is usually the cost is between $550 to $700. Now the $550 is going to be during the slower months, the winter time and the fall. The $700 is going to be during the spring, the summer months. So that's definitely a cost that you guys definitely want to save for, so you guys can get the appraisal done because it is needed for a loan. So, yep. And then the last thing that we need to talk about is honest money. And honest money is really telling the sellers that you're a serious buyer. So when you go on the contract, they require, well, it's not required, it's not a negotiated thing, but it's usually 1% of the purchase price. Sometimes we're able to negotiate that down depending on the situation, but that's pretty typical here in Colorado as far as just being the 1% of the purchase price. Now, that is part of your down payment, but if you're using one of the down payment assistance programs, a lot of times they're going to use that money in order to cover some of that cost. So we've seen our buyers get some money back, but not all of it. So just keep that in mind. So for example, say you're buying a home for $200,000, your honest money would be $2,000. Okay. Other than that, that's really the extra costs that are associated with buying a home. And we feel that you truly should be able to and start saving for these costs, so that when you are in that process, you don't have to try to find that money in order to proceed with closing on the home. Yeah, buying a home is very exciting, but you definitely want to know the stuff that you need to be able to move forward, so you don't fall in love with the house and find out later that you need all this extra money. So it ranges from pretty much $1,000 to up to $3,000 is typically what you need to save. $5,000 would be ideal. If you can save up to $5,000, you'll be in great position. So yeah. Well, we hope you guys found this content very useful. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and email us, call us, and we'll be happy to answer any of you guys' questions. Again, This is Melissa Harris and Jessica Chappell. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and like always, twin on!